It's Peter from Record. I've got a little project to do for an event coming up where we're going to do some pen turning. So I'm just going to prep pens blanks myself, so I'm going to cut some up and then I'll follow on with a video drilling them out, and then maybe even making a pen up as well. But in the main, it's just at the moment I'm just going to prep myself a load of pen blanks. So they've asked me if I do a quick video on it just to show you guys, because we do get asked questions about different sizes. I'm going to be using some slimline pen kits, so I'm going to generally do the square of the blank at about 19mm, and that's quite tight on the size. So if you want to, you can err on the side, add a little bit extra if you wanted to, and say I'm doing it 19mm, and overall length I'm going to do about 55mm. So the insert I'm going to use, the tube, is for the slimline kits, and this is approximately 50mm. So I'm not leaving myself a lot of meat wastage. So on my undercut, I'll just have a small little undercut on there, and then I've got, so it's the slimline kits, I've not got a lot of wastage on the outside. If you're doing bigger kits, then obviously you're going to be doing bigger square sections. So I'm just going to set this up now. So I've got myself a nice length of sycamore. I'm not going to push all that through. It just will be a little easier to manage if I chop this in half. So this is approximately 24 inches long. I'm going to chop it down to half of that roughly. So with my bandsaw, the BS350, if I put the fence right across, and I've got the new fence added on into here, so I'm just going to have just short of 12 inches, 300mm across there. So a little bit hard, but it's not, doesn't really matter. Before I chop it up, I'm going to use my mitre fence with the smaller sections anyway. So while I'm doing that, I want to make that square to my blade. So I can do this in a couple of ways. I can do it with the actual fence right across and put it roughly about to the 0 on your readings. Check it against the blade as well. Set up on that. Another way to do it as well, if fence is all set up and that's all nice and square and you want to make the two perfect together, okay, I'll put that across there. Bring your actual fence across, and on the wide side bring that up to the actual mitre fence, and you'll square off there. So I could move that right up there and get myself even more bearing area across the fence. I see, I know my fence is square, and now that's going to be absolutely perfect to that. So pinch that off, that over there, this back to here, lock that up, and I'm nice and square. So I can set this up now to rip through there. So to do the first cut, get my bandsaw started first. And because I've got the main fence right across to the left hand side, I can actually bring my tool arm down a little bit closer as well. So just above the actual object I'm going to cut. Put my extractor on. A nice little cut with those two on. Quick and easy to do that, and those are nice and square, and now my ends are alright. I can lose that for a minute in the mitre fence. So what I want to do now is take my tool arm up again, bring the fence across. I'm using the widest part of the fence I could turn the fence over onto the narrow side, but I'd only have a small bearing area, so I prefer to have the larger bearing area for the timber I'm going to put up against there. So I need to bring the guides just above the actual fence itself, so make sure that's all nice and clear. I've got no fouling on there. The next part I want to set up, as I say, the squares are roughly 19mm. So on your bandsaw blade, you've got your teeth on there, so you've got one tuft to the right and one to the centre and one to the left. So what I'm going to set up to is the one to the left. So I'll bring this across here and roughly on the outside edge get to about 19mm. There you go. It's only a pen blank, but it gives me something like if I wanted to do something a little bit more precise, what you can do is use a piece of waste material as well. So before you put your cut in and you've got your decent bit of timber in there, do your cut. And then check your size. It's always good if you use a nice bit of timber that's cutting a little bit over, about 1mm. So we'll just move that back just a fraction and then check it again. Being a little bit fussy, but that's I'm happy with that. So what I can look to do then, once I've got that set up, is to put my piece of timber up. And what I want to do with this is work off a nice square face. So if you put your material up against the actual fence and table, you'll see which is the truest face. I've got a little bit of wobble on there, I've got a little bit of angle on there. Not bad at all on there, so I've got the high side, but you can just check around it. So a little bit of angle on there. I think that's going to give me what I want. So then I'll push these through. When you're cutting any material like this, don't be in a rush to just push it through. Just let the bandsaw do the actual work, and you'll find you'll get a much better finish on the material as well. You won't get so many coarse marks in there. As long as it's with the grain. If you're going against the grain, then you'll still get those extra line marks in there. It's just because you're tearing on the grain. So hope that is some use. So again, start my bandsaw first because this is 1.5 horsepower. So I've got myself a few pieces to go on. I've chopped these down, as I was saying, to about 55mm. So, and that's quite. I haven't got a lot of wastage on when I've done my recess. So you can add a little bit extra if you wanted to, but you're going to then have a bigger shoulder underneath. So it's up to you how you do it, if you want to leave a little bit extra on. So I've got mine 55. Again, I'm going to set this up. So I want 55 against the left hand side. Just checking it out, because you're locking up with a lever around, and you've got a round knob on there. What you do sometimes is, as you lock that knob down, it actually pushes the fence more to the right hand side, so it's worth checking a couple of times. Don't just take it as a quick one for granted, but that's going to be about right. Again, if you want to, you can use a bit of waste just to check it as well, like sort of thing. So before I start that, again, a bit of waste just to check it off. Yeah, I'm okay, I'm on to 55. So now, with my mitre fence, I'm going to chop these off, and I've got a little tub here for my fish food, so I can put that in the back to catch. I've drilled a hole in the back just to catch the pieces I'm going to chop off. Because these are a little bit smaller, I'm just going to keep my fingers out of the way. So you can gang them up if you want to, do a couple at a time, or just do the one piece at a time. So again, I've got the fence high at the moment, but I have got clearance on the fence. So all I can do now is actually bring the guides down a little bit lower. All I've got to make sure is when I do that my actual fence clears through. So lock that up, and then I can whiz these off. That's only a few of what I've got to do, but gives you an idea anyway. At least then you've got a nice uniform set of blanks to work to. So they're all roughly going to be about the right sort of size. So you've got some consistency. This is a bit of sycamore. So the grain pattern on this is going to be very close. We're only doing these really just to show people how to actually do it when we do an event. So I'm just going to do some prep on there. If it was like a piece of yew or something like that, then you probably would want to not to mix them all up and try and keep the grain pattern the same. Then you could do them in pairs and just mark the actual the pairs that you're doing. So as you get a nice finish on your pen that you're doing. So anyway, that's a quick little one on there on doing some pen blanks. Hope that's useful to you. We'll follow it on using the Herald and a small chuck, and I'll show you how to drill them out, but how to get it so as it's nice and consistent as well, so you get a nice accurate hole in there. So what you want is a hole that's basically in the centre. You don't want it too much one way or the other, and it's a lot easier to do than you may think on a lathe. So we'll take you through that on the next one as well. So hope to catch you soon. Take care.